The year is 2019, and a new Alien movie has been released. Not one in the traditional sense, but one about the movie Alien, a documentary, Memory, the Origins of Alien. This is a new film from Alexandre O, Philipe, who previously brought us Dock of the Dead and The People vs. George Lucas, both of which I really enjoyed, so needless to say I was really looking forward to this documentary, being focused on my beloved Alien, and being released to commemorate the year of the original film's 40th anniversary. I'd been following news of it for a while, seeing when it was being released. It premiered at the Venice Film Festival back in April, then got a limited theatrical run this October, but unfortunately it never came by my neck of the woods for that. It has now been released digitally though, and its DVD and Blu-ray releases are to follow in the next week. So, being more of a digital guy myself these days, I got myself a copy and was finally able to watch it. I very much enjoyed it and very much recommend it. Though despite being excited for it and anxiously awaiting the release on home video, I wasn't without my reservations. I had heard some so-so reviews, and maybe my biggest fear was that it wouldn't bring that much new to the table and would just cover the same old stuff every Die-Hard fan already knows about the movie. Die-Hard Alien fans, you have to admit, have been pretty spoiled when it comes to being able to peek behind the curtain of Alien and its sequels. Even before the dawn of the DVD age, where every release had to top the other and entice us to buy these new special edition sets, there was always something that provided us a good deal of insight into the making of the film. There were specials like the Alien Legacy and Alien Evolution documentaries, not to mention the infamous Making of Alien 3 tape that at one point was packaged with every single VHS set of Alien and Aliens, and at least the first third or so of that video was a retrospective on Alien. But it had to be the 2003 DVD releases of the film for the quadrilogy set that really went above and beyond with comprehensive documentaries on the making of the movies. The special features were to the wall, behind-the-scenes footage, commentaries, photo galleries, all that great amazing stuff. So anybody who's been on a steady diet of that kind of content for the past few years, and I include myself, would probably go into memory the origins of Alien with crossed arms, thinking, what could you possibly show me that I haven't seen before? Well, it turns out quite a bit. I think the strength of this documentary is how it chronicles what led to the making of Alien, the influences, the relationships, all the creative stars that aligned in bringing it to the screen, all the more well-known accounts and behind-the-scenes facts, but elaborates on them and incorporates more opinion-based insights and theories of the film and its cultural impact from the interviewees. It's able to do this very effectively and seamlessly. If you compare it to a documentary like Room 237, which is about Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, which is all about the interviewee opinions and theories and suppositions about that film, feeling like everyone was just let loose to talk about whatever they wanted to, Memory feels a lot more disciplined, a lot more focused. So when it makes its progression from beginning almost like a biography of Dan O'Bannon and his upbringing, fascinated with science fiction literature and then film and how it all came together to influence Alien, slowly bringing in H.R. Giger and his influences, Ridley Scott and his style, through the making of the film and where its place was in the culture of the 70s and how we view it and what we can take from it today, everything is presented in a cohesive way. It feels like there is a specific narrative being told. In fact, in footage produced for this documentary, there's a little bit of a suggestion that the release of Alien, with its story being told, amalgamation of ancient myths that it is, and being unleashed into the world in 1979, may have awoken an ancient fury itself, which I found pretty charming. It offers far more than just talking heads, which is great and very much appreciated, though where it counts, the interviews they've collected are very good. We have personalities directly involved with the making of the film, like actors Tom Skerritt and Veronica Cartwright, writer Ronald Shusett, producer Ivor Powell, and the late great Terry Rawlings, editor of Alien, was able to contribute and help celebrate this 40th anniversary commemorative documentary before his passing this year. And while Dan O'Bannon is a very large focus of this documentary, having also unfortunately passed, his absence is very much felt, but his wife, Diane O'Bannon, provides a lot of insight and keeps his memory alive. She also executive produced this documentary, as did Carmen Scheifel-Giger, who speaks to the memory of the other lost father of Alien, the incomparable Hans Rudy. Other interviewees include enthusiasts of Alien of all kinds, authors, critics, directors, all with their own takes of the film. The The cultural interpretations and theories occupy a fair deal of the latter half of this documentary, which I found pretty intriguing. As a viewer, you probably won't agree with everything that is said, nor should you take it all as gospel truth, but there's sure to be plenty that may have you rub your chin a little bit and think, I never really saw it that way, so I think there's value in that. I think it's best to go in fresh, but one point in particular I really liked was director Adam Mortimer's thoughts on the class struggle within the crew of the Nostromo and how Parker and Brett agree to some more practical solutions, but because they do it in more of a callous, funny kind of way, they're dismissed. Mortimer sees their warnings in a Greek chorus prophet kind of way, and there's a good dissection of the right scene before Kane wakes up, and the staging and positions of the characters is really telling. I never really saw it that way, so I thought that was great, and I would have loved to see more breakdowns like that in this documentary. If I have a main complaint about Memory, it's that I think they could have given us a little more. I think they could have delved even deeper. I wish it were longer. I understand with these types of documentaries, they do have to keep it at a certain length, keep it digestible enough for a broader audience. I get that, but it runs a pretty conservative 90 minutes. I personally think they could have gotten away with at least 2 hours and expanded on certain things, just a little more. But that's just me, that's just what I would have wanted as a big fan of Alien. Hell, give me 3 or 4 hours of this stuff, I wouldn't mind. All that considered, they do cover a lot of ground in a very short runtime and are able to do it as concisely as possible without losing the sentiment that's driving the entire thing, so I applaud Philipe and company for that. Overall, if you're a big fan of Alien, which if you've subscribed to this channel I'd bet you are, then I'd say it's an essential viewing. I give it an enthusiastic recommendation for fans. It's absolutely worth seeking out. But let's say if you've just somehow randomly come across this video and you're really only a casual fan of Alien, I still definitely think it's worth a look, but I wouldn't necessarily say to drop everything and watch it right away. If you get the chance to, at some point, and you enjoy these kinds of pop culture documentaries without maybe being especially passionate about the subject film at hand, then still you'll find a lot of worth here. In that sense, I still very much recommend it. Throughout this year, I've been reflecting on Alien, celebrating the 40th anniversary, still drawing audiences in, still leaving us finding new things to enjoy about the classic film. Memory, with a title that indeed has a double meaning, takes on the noble but maybe impossible, intangible task of asking, why is this so? The answer lies not in the stars, but the origin, to be sure, lies within a young boy from the Midwest who dreamed of reaching them. The greatest and most endearing achievement of Memory is shining the spotlight on Dan O'Bannon and painting him almost as this heroic figure, which to us fans, he of course is, and maybe he didn't get as much credit as others involved with the film did. Memory, in its own way, is a big thank you to him and to his ideas, many of which remain in boxes upon boxes unseen. Not yet, anyway. Maybe someday we'll have even more to thank him for. Have you seen Memory, The Origins of Alien? What are your thoughts? And I'm curious, how did you see it? Were you able to catch it in theaters? Did you see it digitally like I did? Or will you be seeing it on disc when it's released next week? Comment below and let me know. As always, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like. And you can also subscribe for all the latest videos from the channel. My own very special thank you goes out to my YUTANI executives, EmYarUk, Mark Fox, and Lady Anne, part of the Patreon Hive. If you'd like to join the Hive and support the channel, check out my Patreon page for exclusive posts and contests. In the meantime, you can catch up with Alien Theory over social media, follow at alien_theory on Twitter and at alientheoryyt on Facebook and Instagram for more. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.